Has your fantasy season so far been a total and complete stinker? Well, it's not too late to turn it around and still have some fun. Don't worry about that team that has 2 wins or that team that has 3 wins and has no chance of making the playoffs. Still compete in your league because that's good sportsmanship. But instead, join Underdog Fantasy, a proud sponsor of the Fantasy Couriers. You can do daily, weekly drafts for single games or for multiple games. You can also join the Pick'em contest where you can choose, will a player get higher or lower? Will Josh Allen get higher than 273.5 yards or will he get lower? The options are endless. There is so much fun to be had with Underdog Fantasy Sports. Join now with the code Couriers and your deposit will be matched. Plus, you'll support an amazing, awesome podcast. Speaking of which, now on to the show.
What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
JJ Wang, week 10, we are in it. It is basically stretch run for the playoffs. If you are in a redraft league, you know that maybe you're kind of in trouble right now, but we encourage you, as always, play through week 14. Don't be that guy. If so, don't play fantasy football. It's 14 weeks, and there's nothing more exciting than being the Detroit Lions of last year who knocked the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs with a win. I would take joy and pleasure if I were able to do that to you. It would really make a terrible season better. Do you agree?
No, I can agree with that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I've been a perfect fantasy player this year. You might be directing that towards me. It's very possible. I'm not going to say it's not. But yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if you're not in the playoffs and you're able to keep somebody out of the playoffs, especially like one of your friends that, you can talk crap to. I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the better things about fantasy football.
Yeah, and you can only play what you got to play. And most of our leagues are dynasty, and by this point, you might be trading for picks, or it's a little bit different. It's a different beast at this point if you're doing dynasty. But redraft, that's where it usually gets stinky. By this point, there's usually 2 or 3 guys that you're like, that guy hasn't selected his team since October the 3rd, and there's a guy in there who actually somehow is no longer in the league. So those are the guys who we are, more looking at. There's one league I quit because I had a buddy who would just quit like 2 months in. I'm like, I'm not gonna get in there and then know that everybody that plays you after October 3rd gets a win. I'm competitive. I lose a lot, and I'm acceptable of that. But I don't want to lose because you're a numbskull.
I can't agree with that. I mean, but like I said, that's also part of fantasy. Going in, going in every year that this is going to happen, but somehow you just come back and continue playing every year. But that every league you're going to be in, there's probably at least. It's hard to have a league of 12 guys that just absolutely love. Just all in on fantasy.
It could be the reason I do so much more dynasty, and I think I'm close to being in one of those leagues. That one league I joined in August with Pastor Jacques. There's a dude who's in last place. He's got like 1 win, maybe 2 wins. The dude snaked me. Miami's defense was on bye. They got a nice couple weeks coming up. And I was like, who's going to pick them up? That dude did. And then the guy like 3 spots up picked up the Chiefs team one by. I'm like, really? Are you serious? You guys are not in the playoff hunt. I'm in first place. Come on, man. My defense is Atlanta. I'm in trouble. I was like, but you know what that shows me? Those guys, no matter what, they are still trying, because also if you lose in this league, there's consequences. You got to buy the winner like a bottle of their favorite drink, no matter what it is. You got to get your team name changed based upon whatever the winner decides. We also have a pastor in our league, so it's nothing too bad. So,
but nothing too crazy. Watch out.
This year was I love to kiss my Superflex toes or something like that. Some dude thinks toes are gross, something I guess. But yeah,
some people like toes, man.
Yeah, is that what it is? Anyway, I mean, but we're getting that stretch run, and we could go stretch running for a while, or we could just go. Let's just jump right into it.
Pleasure
and pain. Whoa.
Yeah, a lot of pleasure. I feel like there's a good amount of pleasure this week. This was actually the first week I got to sit down and watch like a whole day of football. I actually got to watch the 1 o'clock games. Got to sit down and watch Red Zone all day. So I mean, it was really fun. I got to see some players I haven't seen, so I can do more than ask questions and just figure out what was going on other than for my fantasy. I actually got to see the play. But the week started off very painful here. Starting on Thursday, the Panthers and the Bears. Bad game, nothing really going on there. Pretty much all pain. Only bright spot out of it, maybe Justin Fields comes back next week. Might help the Bears out a little bit. But other than that, that game is pretty much dreadful. You have anything to say with that one?
My statement is all games should be between the hours of 1 and 7 on Sunday. Every game outside of those hours this week was putrid. So you can skip the other game while you're at it. I mean, the Bears still won. They won. It was terrible. Like, yeah, the end. Sorry.
Yeah,
Shepherd
so
College.
the game that you want me to skip, Colts and Patriots, another dreadful game.
There were two spots, but
I think this was the last overseas game. I think the rest of them are going to be here in the States. So you're going to enjoy that. I think the only bright spot out of the Colts, maybe the Colts, Jonathan Taylor had an okay game, but nothing impressive.
Pittman looks good.
Michael Pittman had an okay game, nothing impressive. But other than probably the best two players out of those two games. And I
Yeah.
mean, it was pretty much all garbage.
Pittman's finally coming around. He is a 16-point PPR guy. Taylor Ramondre was solid.
Oh yeah, Ramondre was solid. Yeah.
And Demary Douglas, after this is the week that nobody played him because he made him all mad last week. So he goes off for 84. So, but I mean, the quarterbacks were terrible. To the point that Zappy had 7 attempts. Minshew.
I mean, you're looking at probably 4 of the lower end quarterbacks, in the league. It's not like there's a good quarterback there that's been good at, this year anyway.
Our thoughts were Minshew he's put up some, but
so speaking of good quarterbacks, the first game I've got is the Ravens and Browns. This is like probably the craziest game all day. I mean, I actually stopped watching the game. I had to run out to the store and come back, and somehow I was in my ear that said the Browns win. I was like, "What happened?"
I was channel surfing.
But yeah, I don't know what really. But I want to talk about Lamar here. It's been really depressing. I mean, it's been a lot of pain these last 3 weeks. He hasn't been the Lamar at all that we thought. We thought the Ravens were the best team in the league. They come in here and lose to the Browns. Lamar doesn't look all that great as far as fantasy goes. I mean that's what I'm trying to pay. So are we worried about Lamar here, or are we still high that he's that top 5 guy?
I went into my fantasy trade calculator and decided if I should offer Lamar versus CJ Stroud today.
That's what I wanted to ask. Who are you taking, Stroud or Lamar? I wanted to ask that.
You asked me at the top of November of 2023, and I want CJ Stroud, but we're living in the moment. But he's a pocket passer, so I would move Lamar for Stroud. I think I got a contender, and I'm still thinking about offering the trade. Thinking like if I was the other guy, would I smash it? I don't like. It's that close?
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't want to give, I mean, yeah, that would be a hard one to go through too. I mean, I just traded for Lamar, and I am highly disappointed. I thought I'd get something a little better out of this, but I mean, hopefully it changes in track record.
He still ran 8 for 41. He just didn't. He just threw the interceptions, and that, I mean, add those 4 points back into your team, then it looks a little different. It's
absolutely. So next game we got Packers and Steelers. Steelers are just a pain to watch. Kenny Pickett is absolutely dreadful. Jalen Warren, and Najee Harris, they did look okay. They did look okay today. So with Kenny Pickett sucking, of course the receivers are going to suck. That's just how that goes. But what I want to ask you is I'll say 3 receivers on Green Bay. We got your boy Dobbs. I kind of like Jalen Reed a little more, and then Christian Watson. I think we can agree that Watson's probably number 3 out of those 2, right?
Reed showed out this week. So, I mean, Dobbs did exactly. I told you what he would do. About 30. And when he called that touchdown, I was like, I can't wait to get on the podcast. I was like, 30 and a touchdown. He doesn't get that touchdown. He's nothing. But he got it. Reed showed out. Maybe he's going to be what they thought Watson would be. I mean, there's people that are Watson truthers. You know me, I've never been a Watson guy. Never. I think I got him off of waivers once and didn't have him long, but never been. And Dobbs is what Dobbs is. He's a receiver vulture, is what he is for sake of anything else. That's all he is.
Yeah, I mean the only highlight that I've seen of Christian Watson today was him dropping a pass across the middle, and that's probably not the really only highlight you want to be known for. But yeah, I mean I think Reed and Dobbs looks impressive. Arthur, would you take Reed and Dobbs over Pickens and Deontay Johnson?
No. No. Deontay, I mean, far be it if you want to know how Deontay Johnson killed me. I had CD Lamb and Dak Prescott in my DFS lineups and won $0 today. That's how bad everybody else was. And they were good players like Deontay Johnson or DeAndre Hopkins. But, I would still take the targets that Deontay usually gets and Pickens' talent over Dobbs 1 touchdown. I mean, the thing about Watson that's crazy, he had 7 targets. He had the most targets on the team. So if you had a deep bench and could get him, a guy's getting 7 targets. That's the barometer for receivers. I don't like Watson, but if I have an empty spot and I can get him for, maybe a fourth or a very low third, I might throw him on the end of my bench looking at that stat versus Dobbs. I mean, Dobbs and Reed had 5, but still he had 7 to lead the team. So, I still don't like him.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either. All right, next game. This is probably the biggest pleasure and pain game of the day. We have the 49ers and Jags, complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Of course, the Jags are a complete pain. Everybody's terrible except for Christian Kirk. I'm a fan of Christian Kirk. I like what he's done this year. I mean, considering that nobody's really liked the guy and everybody kind of like pushed him off to the side with Calvin Ridley just being an absolute disappointment. Speaking of disappointment, Trevor Lawrence is just murdered.
I,
So my
I
so
got
my
negative. I got
yeah,
negative 0.95 points in your league.
it
Negative.
was it was dreadful. So plus with the return of Debo, the 49ers actually look like the 49ers again. So maybe you were right. Brock Purdy looking like the early Brock Purdy. So let's say you're in a one quarterback league, you drafted Trevor Lawrence early, Brock Purdy late. Are you going to start Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence?
Am I starting Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence? Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence is dead to me for a while. Trevor Lawrence has to play in the national championship game again, probably to have you. I mean, it's terrible. I got him in 2 places, in both places. Like one place, luckily he didn't kill me. The other place, he cost me a win and a team that needs a win. It's like
Oh, I'm sure he probably cost a lot of people a win.
I didn't expect the Jaguars to win. I expected Trevor Lawrence to get probably about this many yards, but not the turnovers. You don't get 3 turnovers in a game and pull it off. Like it's just putrid. I texted Pastor Jacques. I was like, "Is it okay if I just drop Calvin Ridley? Just drop him. He was the guy I loved on this show. I loved. I think I want to drop him. Like straight up, not even. It's getting hot in here. Not even for a waiver. I'm just dropping him before waivers, just because I'm that done with that piece of garbage. He's terrible. I'm not
Yeah.
betting on him ever again.
Yeah, that's a huge pain. All right, next game we got the Saints and Vikings. A pain. We got Derek Carr going down, Jameis Winston coming in, looking like Jameis Winston. Even though our boy Chris Olave kind of had a decent game.
That catch.
Um, yeah, great catch. That touchdown was amazing.
Yeah.
Going over to Minnesota. Josh Dobbs just continues to just absolutely kill it. I love this guy. I think he's playing his way into being the starting quarterback for the Vikings next year. Kirk Cousins, you don't think so?
Money talks. He's playing his way somewhere to be at least the rookie's backup guy. But Kirk Cousins they're paying too much money. They're not gonna keep
Well,
him
isn't
out.
he? I think this is his last year there, right?
I thought he had one more.
Oh, is it one more year? I don't know. Maybe,
I
maybe,
was
maybe not.
thinking that that's why they were stuck. If not,
Well,
I still don't think so. Let's see. He signed a 1 year. No, that's not the wrong one. I still don't. He's still Josh Dobbs. Oh yeah,
oh
Cousins
yeah.
has next year he has 6 million signing and dead cap of 28 million. After next year they could drop him. Because
Okay.
after that it's a $10 million cap hit. So yeah, I think what he is doing is he's doing 2 things. Number one, he's gonna be the talk of every January fantasy show. To me, he's the best value pickup in the league because he was, picked up for nothing. Two, he is more than likely gonna be their quarterback, and he could play in a playoff game this year. I mean, they're 6-4, and they don't have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I
They don't have a running back to save their life. Ty Chandler finished the game because Madison got hurt. There's a pain. Hawkinson's their number one receiver. Addison was okay.
So
OJ,
speaking,
Chase Osborne's
so
out.
speaking of Hawkinson, at what point does he take over this tight end one in the league? I mean, he's on a good streak here. I mean, if he's catching touchdowns, I mean, everything else is there. So going into next year, can Hawkinson be your tight end one?
Is Kelsey playing next year?
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean,
Yeah, I didn't know.
if they're ending up with the same numbers, I mean, at some point,
Well,
Kelsey's going
two
to.
years, 3 years when I think what's going to happen next year is there can at least be a discussion because there are, in my opinion, four guys that could be tight end one next year. You got Hawk, you got my boy Laporta, you got Andrews, and you got Kelsey. And you could there could be a valid argument made for all four guys, but that's the first time in a while. Like people would try to say Andrews, but no, not really. But I think next year, I think it really will be because teams are starting to go. Wait, there's no one else to throw to. Kelsey's gonna go down some. So yeah, I think it could be argued. I still think Kelsey, until Kelsey decides not to play, has earned the right to be the number one guy.
We'll see. Going over to Texans and Bengals. I mean, a pretty. I mean, I don't say a good game, but I mean, overall, I mean,
It was a good
players
game.
played out. I mean, Burrow had a good game. Chase had a good game. I think the biggest question here, we got Noah Brown and Devin Singletary. So I want to talk about Devin Singletary. If Pierce remains out, is Devin Singletary going to be an option? I mean, he's looked okay, but if this offense is going to continue playing like this, and he's going to continue getting this many carries, I mean, he's going to have to be an option, right?
If he gets as many carries, yeah. I mean, he pooped the bed the last couple of weeks. Like he was a starter last week too, and he didn't do crap. So he's gonna be next week. He's like where Noah Brown was this week. I have Noah Brown in like two or three teams. I started Noah Brown on 0 teams, or else I would have had 7 for $1.72. I would take that anywhere. Like Noah Brown is starting next week, no matter what. I will set Jamar Chase. No, but that's how. If Noah Brown has done this twice in a row, you get to start. I mean, he's not Jahan Dotson, which we'll get to, but no, I did not. I was like, wow, Noah Brown. I mean, Dalton Schultz, he's a top 8 tight end now, if not top 6 in that. But I thought this week was going to be Tank Dell. My money was on Tank Dell, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Brown decided to be the man.
I would take Duff still had a decent game. He still
Tank Dell had a great
like,
game, but not the. I mean, he had 14 targets, so that's pretty stinking awesome.
All right, next game we got Titans and Bucks. This one was pretty bad for the Titans. Will Levis kind of looked like Will Levis. Derrick Henry, big disappointment. Going over to the Bucks, we got Rachaad White coming through again. I mean, these guys are ranked pretty close in fantasy numbers. Is there a chance Rachaad White finishes out the season better than Derrick Henry? Oh, there's a possibility there, ain't it?
Possibility, yeah. I don't want to say it out loud. So, for those of you listening, that was a muted. I don't know, and I can't say it out loud.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say.
It's a possibility. I think if the trajectories are looking that way, I mean, Buccaneers defense is underratedly pretty good.
That's true. That's true.
Will Levis the last 2 weeks when he's come back to earth has played a decent Bucks defense and a decent Steelers defense. So he's got to play some crappy teams this year to be, the week I had to start his stinking butt. He did this.
But I mean, if Baker continues playing this well, he's played okay. But I mean, it still opens up everything, and he definitely is that pass catching back. And I was kind of out on him, but he looks better than I thought he was going to be. I mean, he's teetering with that top 12 running back, and I don't see it really changing throughout the rest of the year.
He's teetering an off-season try to trade for in Dynasty.
Oh, absolutely. I think the best game of the day by far was the Lions and the Chargers. I mean, this was just fantasy points all over the place. So I want to ask you a question with the big three of Detroit, right? We got Goff, Amon-Ra, and Jahmyr Gibbs, and then the big three of the Chargers with Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Eckler. Which one would you rather prefer? If you were to have all three on your fantasy team, which one would you rather have?
I have someone that would argue with you that you gave the wrong big three for Detroit.
Well, I mean, I could go
David
several
Montgomery
different.
had 116 yards.
I mean, I could go several different. I mean, I could go
Yeah.
several different
Oh,
ways. I'm just going
oh,
with Jameer Gibbs
oh
because he's
man! You
more
said Herbert,
he's more
Eckler,
reliable.
Keenan versus Gibbs, Golf, and Amon Ra. You're
Yeah,
you're asking me to choose M&Ms and peanut M&Ms right there, my
you're
friend.
right.
Right now, my favorite team is the Detroit Lions on the NFC, so I'll go that route. I mean, is Keenan Allen? I was thinking about that. Like, I would love for us to sit down and just make a fantasy and to be like our perfect team to like root for and to be successful with. Keenan Allen would probably be my what? These would probably be my first two. No, these two guys and Tyreek could probably be my three receivers. Because Keenan Allen's one of my. I've been a Keenan fan for years, and of course I'm going against him this week, so I just got pummeled. But I
Yeah, I
love
mean,
Keenan Allen.
yeah, I mean, I love all these guys, and just Amon Ra just impresses me so much. I didn't think this he was going to be nearly this good, but I mean
Oh,
that.
phenomenal
I
guy.
mean, yeah, you were. I
I
give
win
you
that one.
credit.
I got some duds
I,
this year.
I, I think a more game everybody was interested in. We had the Cardinals and Falcons, not because the teams are any good, but the return of Kyler Murray. And I will say, Kyler Murray looked exactly like Kyler Murray did, before he got injured. I mean, he was running around. He looked just as fast as he did before. He was making some bad throws, some good throws. I mean, came through late like he usually does. Things happen. Um, but what I want to ask about Trey McBride. Like, he's been in the league a couple of years. Could this like be a breakout? And you're maybe with the return of Kyler Murray, you might be able to trust Trey McBride going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was the game I was honing in on because I got some Kylers. Trey McBride is the first Cardinals tight end. I think it was 34 years to go over 100 yards.
Oh wow!
It's been that long, and Trey McBride's been the target of everybody. So Kyler, um, Dune last week. Is that who was playing last week? Is that who played last week? Has it been that? And then before Dobbs, yeah, they've all. Then the last three, like his ascension's been like the last 3 weeks, basically. Like he was getting some last year, but his real true ascension, and he was, he was the man. I thought for sure it'd be Hollywood. Hollywood got one catch. Rondell Moore had more catches. I did not see that happening, but I thought Hollywood would be up there with McBride. But it was McBride, and we're getting ready for the year of the tight end, man. We're gonna be talking tight ends off season now. We're up to like 6 or 7 tight ends. That'll be really good next year. But now, yeah, 100%.
All right,
Not
nice,
Kyle
nice,
Pitts.
nice. All right.
Or how about Johnny Smith, 1 for 1? That stupid turd.
Yeah, it's the Falcons are absolutely dreadful. I mean, it's just a capture. And Bijan looked okay today,
He's gonna
but
look good. He looks
yeah,
good.
but I mean, it's tough to
Connor
be
looks
a
good
Laker
in
fan.
a comeback. I mean, Kyler came back amazing. That's what I wanted to see, and he
Yeah.
looked so good.
All right. Going to the next game, we got the Cowboys and Giants. Dak Prescott looked incredible. CeeDee Lamb looked incredible. Evidently, he's the first receiver with 10 catches, 150 yards in 3 consecutive games. I mean, he's finally looking like the receiver I thought he was going to be. Hopefully, he can. He's not going to continue this much of a heater, but I hope so. But what I want to ask you is like a big old pain here. We got Saquon Barkley and Tony Pollard. Both have been disappointments, but in your eyes, who's been the biggest pain?
Well, I don't have Pollard, and I thought Pollard was going to stink, so I got to go Saquon because I thought Saquon would be a top 5 back. And that team, no one thought the Giants would be this terrible. Like we didn't think we'd get last year's Giants. Everybody's excited. Dable's first year, Danny Dimes got the check, but nobody thought this. Like they're putrid. And I was right last week. I said, will Dak play the fourth quarter? And he didn't. I was like, fourth quarter, he is out. But what's interesting? CD wasn't even the leading receiver on his team, man. Surefire waste of 9 catches and 173 yards. Brandon Cooks, but no, yeah, Saquon's the bigger dud. I mean, everybody expected it from Tony. I didn't. I thought I see him as a needing. He needs a partner. If they can bring in a partner I think Tony could be stellar again. Like he's not he doesn't need 8 carries, but he's a guy that needs to share the load. But really, they're not focusing it on the run like they said they were. Like that was baloney. CD is just killing it. Dak is just
Yeah.
the 4 greatest weeks of his life is what they're saying on some of the sleeper updates. But
Yeah, he's winning a lot of people weeks. We got Commander Seahawks. Not a lot being the same. How continues to look okay. Brian Robinson had a huge game. We said Antonio Gibson. You said he's been rather impressive over the last. I don't want to say impressive over the last few weeks, but
He's been looking better. Yeah, I would put him in
he's
there.
been looking flex worthy. The Seahawks. I mean, they are the Seahawks are. I mean, what do you got? Anything particular here with these two teams?
No, like Sam Howell is going to get credit for looking clutch that last while and making it look good at the end, but he didn't look good. Like as a whole, like I mean, he comes around his stat line. I Last year I said Kenny Pickett had the best 4 interception game I've ever seen. Sam Howell, statistically and for a fantasy team, stellar. 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'll take that any day. And 2 for 17. I'll take all of that. But watching him play, it didn't look that good. It looked. He did not. I don't know. It didn't look good. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, they're making a comeback. Da, 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 da. Oh, man, the stat line was much better than I thought just from doing the eye test because I was watching the 4 screen thing and not paying attention to the
I
game
mean,
at
I
all.
feel like that's been Sam Howell all year. I mean, he's getting sacked, he's taking hits, and just somehow he's just managed to find enough yards. But I mean, I feel like just watching it just from my fantasy charts over the last few weeks, and then watching it today. I mean, it pretty much
He's still
played
where
out
we.
exactly. Yeah, that's how I see Sam Howell playing. Not looking great, but somehow come up with good fantasy numbers.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's the last game.
man, that game.
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Hey, we're back in with lots of these this week. We got some cruddy touchdowns coming through. I love this first one because this is a guy that I was reading about in the preseason for Dynasty and I was very excited about. 15-yard pass. This is a double. This is a twofer from Jameis Winston. Goes to Michael Thomas. Nah, he knocked some guy over for parking in front of his house. No, Olave, he already had his beautiful car. Like, speaking of Michael Thomas, it's the weirdest thing ever. Like,
Evidently they deserved it, man.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, I thought he like beat the living tar. I thought he Camara'd some guy. I mean, you still don't be a numbskull. Dude parked in front of your house. I mean, what are you, the president? It was doing construction or something, and he threw a rock in his car and then pushed him. Or
Yeah, I mean that might get him a little excessive, but who knows, man.
yeah, like I'm not gonna ever be that mad that I'm gonna push something. Man, everything's off on my. Like, I mean, also because everybody's twice my size. But let's go. 15-yard reception from my boy A.T. Perry. I love that guy. That guy is Michael Thomas mold, but a rookie. He's been inactive most of the year, but I love him. Nobody else really knows who in the world this dude is. So that would make it a.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, I've heard the name. I mean, I did see him play a little bit. I've seen the touchdown, but hey, I did see that touchdown, but I have no idea who the guy is.
I've been watching him all season go inactive, healthy scratch. Taylor Heineke, right before he got knocked out, had a 2-yard touchdown pass to, of course, it's got to be Kyle. No, he doesn't catch touchdowns. Maybe Jonnu. He had a great nope. He just had to go 1 yard after being the best tight end last week. Oh, Drake London, who looked like signs of life today. Nope. This guy, this is his second time. I think he still comes on every time because no one's going to still start him. Scott, no longer Scotty. Scott Miller. He's a big boy now. That's big time.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, I guess when you get to a certain amount of years in the NFL, you just mature and you just go with Scott.
He went through football puberty. No longer he's Scotty.
Scott.
Yeah, in that game, we have a 9-yard rushing touchdown for Bija. No. Desmond Ridder. Of course, everybody put him in their lineup because we're thinking he's going to play because Heineke gets hurt. Nope. But then he gets a nice little naked bootleg and scores a touchdown. That's how he scored all his rushing touchdowns this year. That is definitely 100% a
Surefire waste of a touchdown. I wish I would have just kept him in my lineup because at least I would have gotten a point from some quarterback.
I wish I played him over Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he would have scored you more points, man.
Not to be outdone by Desmond Ridder. We have a 1-yard rushing touchdown on the other side of the ball for the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler with the Philly push. Oh, no. They can't do that to us on our first week back with Kyler. They got to put Clayton Tune through the 1-yard touchdown. Are you kidding me? I was so mad. I was like, of course, I heard the name. I was like, oh, I hate you, Arizona. So they gave us a very, very, very definite, surefire
waste of a touchdown.
You're asleep.
No, I was just letting you go. I was just letting you go on. I was going to see how far you
I
were
was
going
going
to
for hours and hours.
go.
We have a 32-yard pass from Joe Burrow. We know it's going to Chase. No, Higgins is out. So, of course, it's got to be Boyd. He had an okay game, a couple of nasty drops. No, a guy that was actually a high waiver wire pick, but most people didn't start him unless you had to because you had like all the Dolphins receiver and the Eagles receivers. Trenton Irwin, 32-yard touchdown reception. Yeah, dog. But that's
Yeah,
still
that's a surefire way to the touchdown. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be Tyler Boyd this week. I was hoping Tyler Boyd could get that random touchdown, but of course it's going to be this guy.
he still got target. He didn't look terrible.
He didn't look terrible.
It's pretty good. We have this is almost a twofer because no one played these guys. We have the Giants scoring a touchdown. I can't even name nobody not named Saquon, so I'm just going to tell you who it is. Tommy DeVito threw the ball. You know that's a surefire waste. But he threw it to tight end Daniel. No. Lawrence Cager for a 10-yard tight end reception. He might be tight end 10 this week. And that will make that a
Surefire ways of the touchdown. Man. That's insane, man.
I mean, hey, Kittle still could.
I will say the Giants are a really bad team. I mean, there's got to be a better. I mean, I know DeVito's cool. I mean, he's great story, but there's got to be a better quarterback out there.
Well, there was. His name was Tyrod Taylor. Then he got hurt.
That is true. Never
There's got to be at
mind.
least 10 XFL quarterbacks that are better than him. I mean, where's our boy Ben DiNucci from James Madison?
I don't know if he's. I wouldn't say Ben DiNucci's better than Tommy DeVito.
I watched Ben DiNucci played so much better than this dude. He had that one back.
Also, Ben DiNucci had a way better team than what Tommy DeVito's working with here too.
Okay, let's go to your boy, the Washington Commanders. 35-yard touchdown pass for Sam the Man. Cannon arm Hal to. Oh, wait. Did Dodson have a catch today? I didn't even see the final box. Did he end up?
I don't think so. I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all.
Yeah, John Dodson, 2 targets, 0 catches. Good thing we jinxed him. So we know it wasn't him. Oh, McLaurin, his number 1, nope. Logan Thomas, nope. Oh, another one, Gibson, nope. How about De'Ami Brown, the old Tar Heel who we all gave up on by now? Yep, that's definitely a
surefire waste for the touch. I still got him on a team though. He's still stashed away deep on one of my benches.
Hey, that was a Tar Heel to Tar Heel. I wonder if they would have played together because Sam Howell was there for 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. They were there. Yeah.
Okay, we have an 18-yard Herbert touchdown. We know Keenan's scoring, but it's not him. Maybe it's Gerald Everett. No. Parham. No. Oh, it's the rookie. The rookie did get one. People started him. I was going to use him, but I didn't because I figured some people started him because of that. This is a blast from the past. I had this guy on a couple of teams. Jalen Guyton with a 18-yard touchdown. That guy hurt himself last year. It's his first touchdown since. Good for you, man. But sorry, that's still a
surefire waste of a touchdown. This guy pops up a lot. I mean, I don't say he pops, but I mean, every now and then you hear Jalen Guyton signing and it gets you excited, but it just can't maintain.
He's just with those 2 receivers that always get the clout, you know.
That is true.
In my favorite team of the year, Jared Goff had a 25-yard touchdown pass to tight end Brock Wright. That stinks. But he got Goff some points for me. But the right catch, that's definitely a
surefire waste to a touchdown. Good for Brock Bowers, man. I mean, hey, what can you say?
This is my favorite one. This is my second favorite position in football. Third, I guess. I count these as tight ends. No, first is light. I love linebackers. Then a good tight end. But this is basically the same position. 22-yard pass from Brock Purdy to fullback Kyle Juszczyk. There's only about 3 of them that exist still. Mike Allstott's still one of my favorite players of all time. I love a good fullback, and I love when Juszczyk scores. And he's a fantasy football fan. He's a big fantasy football guy. So I love you, bro, but nobody started you. I almost put him in my DFS lineup because he was cheap. But no, I didn't, and I lost. So that makes it a
surefire waste of a touchdown. Yeah, I don't see too many people starting this game.
I don't think anybody does. So, yep, there's my wasted touchdowns, JJ Wang. Take us out of here. We got 2 more terrible games coming up, more than likely. And then we'll get ready for Week 11.
Week 11, playoffs are almost here. It's kind of amazing. So my words of wisdom, it's not really about football. Even though football was kind of great today, but while I was in and out, like I got these 3 giant trees in my yard. It just amazes me. I know there's a lot of leaves on a tree. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that. But the amount of leaves that are really on a big tree is absolutely amazing. There's just so many. But yeah, it's good exercise, but so many leaves. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.